Hello my brothers and sisters in nerdiness, welcome back to the Spider's Web, and in this video we're going to be doing a painting. Not painting a model, I mean a painting, a picture. There is a story behind this. A couple of weeks ago, let's go back a little bit further. I think it was last year, possibly the year before, was when I started at the Games Club on the Wednesday evening, talking about the fact that I go to the same place for a nightclub on the Tuesday morning. And one of the lads from there was quite interested in the idea. Never painted before, so he thought I'd give it a try. And that was Stephen, who you know from the episode of Uncut Waffle. I think it was the last episode of Uncut Waffle where we talked about Andy's Man Club. That was the Stephen in question. Now, from not painting before, he's done some lovely pictures. He's still learning, as all of us are, but he's coming in from not knowing anything to doing the kind of things he's doing today. And there are some that he's doing recently that has caught my attention. And I want to have a try myself at doing my interpretation of that kind of thing, because we've been chatting about them. And I was saying that how I was giving him advice on how you might get a better finished image. I'm going to put a few of the pictures up now of the kind of, well, I'm going to put the pictures up now of the kind of things that he's been doing that's grabbed my attention. So I'm going to do something like this. Now, it's not something I've ever done before, this kind of painting, but I've got a sketch down and we're going to get cracking with it. And that's what we're doing in this video. So without further ado, let's get the what do we call it, the easel up on the table, and let's get our paint sorted out and then we can get going. Now I'm not going to do anything really weird with this, but we are going to have another camera on the go just to show the palette and what we're doing on the palette. So before we do any further, before we start, I'm going to have to go and set that up because I forgot to do it. So join me in a second, why don't you? Right, we're back. I'm hoping I've got as good a view of this as I can possibly get. I'm sorry if it's not perfect, but at least we've got palette on this camera. We've got the view of the picture on this camera. I will be zooming out later. I'm just staying with this particular angle at the moment so you can see the work I'm doing on this rhinoceros. So let's get started, shall we? So first off, we're going to be using acrylics. At this stage we're going to be using a little bit of burnt umber, and I'll pop that over there. And into that we're going to add a little bit of, when I can find it, there we are, cobalt blue, which is this one. And the majority of ones I'm using is Winsor & Newton. I don't think I've got any others, to be honest. I think it's all Winsor & Newton paints I've got. And this is just, as I say, as a starting colour. Now what we're going to do is just go over all of the Rhino in this mix here. We're going to do a fairly watery mix, so we need some water, and we'll just mix here like so. I need to be able to see what I'm looking at. So I want a nice grey brown. I think what I'll do is I'll add in some white to the mix. I need to here's the white, some titanium white. I have various sizes of paints here, depending on what I use most of. And when you're painting in acrylics, you tend to use a lot of white. So don't be surprised when you start doing that, you're getting through white like there's no tomorrow. Okay, so as I said, we're just having a very watery mix in it. We're just putting the base colour down here. We don't want anything to what's the word I'm looking for, to obscure a lot of the markings underneath. It's a little bit thick at the moment. It's not very transparent. As I said, I'm just blocking in the Rhino, bringing it out from the background. I'm not doing any detail work on it yet. I want to see the lines underneath because I want to use them as for detail work. Let's just add some more water into this mix. That's better, because I'm going to be coming in with a black to make these lines and give these details later on. What I do need to do though is get some paper towel, because I've just noticed that I have gone over here. I'm just trying to get it off, so bear with me. So one of the best ways of getting paint off is by just, if you've been, oh god, that's not quite right. If you've been painting minis or anything, you should know this already. Just get some water on, go over it before it dries, and then you can, a lot of the time, get rid of it. It doesn't happen all the time, but you know, if you're lucky, you can get there just before it dries. And let's mix some more of this colour, because I've not quite got as much as I want to. A little bit of white. So I just want a nice grey brown. There you are. That should be okay. Let's see how it's looking once we start bringing it down into the main picture. It's still a little opaque. As I say, I want to see the sketching underneath for the time being. I'm hoping you can see this okay on camera. I don't have a vast amount of room in here to have cameras set up here, there and everywhere to get the best out of these painting demonstrations, but I'm hoping you can see as best as I can make it. You may not be able to see on the underpainting, not the underpainting, the sketching underneath the painting, should I say. I can, and if I've gone overboard with some of this colour, which I bloody well have there, just realised that's not part of the Rhinoceros. I could use that as shadow later on, which is why I'm not going too mad with the removal of it. I'm just going to make sure that certain parts of this are removed. So we have this here. I just need to make sure that the areas that are the rhinoceros are covered in this colour, and any areas that are that have a little bit of pooling gets soaked up but not removed. There we go. That's about it, and we just want that going down there. That's fine. And as I said, as long as I can see the underside of this paint, the sketching, it's what I want basically. And that is what I'm looking at. Anytime I lose track of the sketching, I will come back and try and remove some of the paint. Now, as I say, certain parts of this ground area is going to be in shadow, and I'm not too fussed about that part. At least not too fussed about getting it completely clear. And go there. That's underneath the Rhino's foot, and there's no shadow at that point, but there is shadow here. So I'm just going to run this and use it as if there's shadow and grass there, which is why I'm doing vertical stabbing strokes to indicate, like there's grass here. There we go. That's leaking down or running down, which I don't want. I'm just going to run this over now and just go back over and make sure that any build up here isn't too excessive. Okay, so that looks about right. It is bubbling. I think I'm using, to be honest, I think I'm using the wrong paper. I think I'm using watercolour paper and this is acrylic. Oh dear, I just realised that. But never mind. What we're going to do now, hopefully I can find the brush, is get my little rigger brush out. Okay, so what we're doing with this is we're getting some, I'm going to use this one, it's Payne's Grey. It's a nice bluey grey, but it's not black. I don't like using black in my paintings. I think it kills the painting completely. I use this Payne's Grey instead. Gives a lovely colour. Yep. So I'll just give it a shake to make sure it will come out. There we are. Don't need a great deal of this, but this is going to be used to, oops, I'm going to put this on. Now I'm going to try and make the sketching with this in the hope that I can make this look like a proper Rhino. I could have done this in pen, which looking back I think I should have done. But I'm not going overboard with it. It's not going to be a realistic looking picture, as you may have guessed looking at the photographs of the artwork that Stephen's done. It is going to be a nice brightly coloured work. I'm going to just put little marks here and there to show creases, to show depth, and then we'll come back in a bit and pick out the areas that we want to look as though it's brightly coloured. And I'm using a little bit of artistic license, obviously, because when you see how it's going to look, you will realise that rhinos don't look that colour. So that hopefully looks okay. There's always going to be a stage in every painting that you do that we call the ugly stage in painting, because it looks ugly. This possibly might never get out of that stage. I don't know. But the thing is, we'll find out when we get to it. Now, rhinos are mammals. They do have fur, hair, whatever, and most of it is towards the tips of the ears, and some very fine hair here and there along the body, but there's a lot of it on the tip of the ear. So that's what that's for there, and we'll just go around the very top here. going to go across here and water that down a little bit. Stop it looking too strong. Okay, so there we have, to all intents and purposes, a Rhinocerosaurus. Oh heck. I didn't want that one, but never mind. See if we can go over it with a little bit of white. Bear with me. With me, that will do. There we are. Any little mistakes we make, we can oftentimes cover up with just a little bit of paint. And if it's white paint on white paper, you can get away with it quite a bit easier than you would otherwise. There we go. Now we're going to start playing about with this Rhinocerosaurus, because it's not, as I said, it's not going to be this colour all the time. So let's get some cadmium red. This is cadmium red hue. I don't know who Hue is, but that's what it is. And we'll get some of this out. Okay, so we have this red. Moisten the brush, and let's just put some red areas. On this side of his body. And take some into his ear as well. Get some there. Okay, that's red. Let's go with, what's this one? Little bit of sap green, I think it is. Yes, sap green. And we're doing all sorts of colours in this. What I do want to do first of all is suck up some of that red there. That's better. And let's dab some of this red here. There we are. And then we'll get into, moisten the brush and get into this green. Let's bang some green into these areas. To blend in. They blend in. Try my best not to eradicate all the black areas we've put in. It's going to be like a very I want to say psychedelic. I don't know whether that would be the right phrase or not. But I'm picking areas where there would be a shadow to put this green. I'm not going to touch anymore, I don't think. Let's put some under here. Just decided. And this is a colour we can have in different areas. Let's make it a bit darker under there, and run some over this black here to make it look like it is on the shadows. Oh yeah. As I say, I'm not experienced at all with this kind of work. Yeah. Okay, we have to go back into the white and make sure it's the pure white. Don't go into any wood that's we've actually caught it with colour as we've been taking some off the area. So there we are. That's just add a little bit more into there because it's not covering up the red terribly well. We'll keep adding touches to that as we go. Let's go into blue, shall we? Add some of this blue into areas where this is weird for me. I'm not used to this at all. But there's only so much. You know, you've got to be able to get out of your comfort zone sometimes, and this is so far out of my comfort zone that I don't know where I've left it. So, as I said, this is experimentation for me. It's not, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not something I'm knowledgeable about with this this kind of painting technique. It's not something I've ever done before. As I say, I'm just trying it because I suggested things to Stephen. He's had a play and seems to be enjoying this kind of thing. But I'm doing it a slightly different way, just to see if I can make it look as interesting but different. What's this one? Boots, you know, no. Brown, no. Let's have a little bit of cadmium orange. Again, this is cadmium orange hue, and it's a modern paint, so there's no cadmium in this. I think it's all synthetic colouring, just to give it the same colour as what cadmium red or cadmium orange would be. Too much water in there. And let's touch some areas up here. Let's give this horn I'm going to come back and give that horn a different colour. I think I made the mistake there with okay, I'm using this because I've got paint on my wrist from leaning on the red as I've been using let's go with a little bit of white here and some of that orange. Let's make a paler orange colour. Okay, pop a little bit of the red in there as well. That'll make it like a pinky, a salmon pink colour. And we'll add that into that horn. It will help the horn stand out a little more, and we'll continue with this. See what happens if I put a little bit of green in it. You do anything. Play about. I think this is supposed to be a very free style of painting. It's not done what I'd like it to have done, but never mind. Let's see what else we've got. I've got some paints down here underneath. Oh, go on then. Let's get a little bit of this on the go, shall we? It's Windsor Violet. Nice purpley colour. Let's get some of that on his face. I might just use the rigger for this bit. Very deep colour, this one. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to paint the eyes with this as well. Getting some using this to enhance the black that we put down for the shadow and the creases and getting the details in. It's not showing up as I thought it might, but it doesn't matter. Let's get some white into this purple and make it a lot paler. There we go, there we have it. That will do nicely. And we'll get some of this Rhino, and I run some of this down here, and there we go. Oh, that's nice. I like that colour. I'm not. Now, I don't know whether this is the way Stephen does it. Well, I know some of it he doesn't do. I definitely know he definitely doesn't do a base coat or the underpainting on it and get the detail on. He just puts blotches of colour on, as you could see from the photograph. But I don't know if this is the mind process he has as he's doing them, whether it's just a case of getting colour on. Let's see what some green would do in this. I know it wouldn't do anything to make it brighter, but it might make it an interesting colour. One that we can use. It dulls down the purple quite a bit, and we can use some of this to emphasise some of the black lines that we've lost with the acrylic paint going over the top of it. Oh yeah. Again, I'm not looking for what do they call it? I'm not looking for realism, as you can tell, because you don't get Rhinos this colour. In the wild. Let's get some water in this to make it playable. There we are, but we do get some artists who do this and it looks good. I'm not sure whether I'm getting there yet, But if anybody would let me know what you think of this particular technique. I know it's a little left of field from the way I usually paint, but I have every intention of another painting. Oops, just had some mail drop through. Bit late. Oh, it's a package, so it'll be a courier rather than what do we call it? It'll be a courier rather than post. Now let's go with some yellow. I think hopefully this is going to make it zing. Fingers crossed. Let's get that down here. And yeah, I'm sorry that there is a bit of reflection on here, but it needs to be shiny because it's a flat palette. It needs to be shiny to be able to stop the paint sticking to it. Okay, so I'm still using this, and let's this done. Now, I may not have had the right idea when it came down to doing the underpainting in such a dark colour. I don't know what you think about that. I think I should have just gone straight over the white paper. I'm thinking about it now. It would have been bright if I'd have done that. Let's get some white. On here and on here. The thing is with this, you can always go backwards and forwards with colours. It's acrylic. You're making adjustments, you're not making corrections. If something doesn't look quite right, you adjust it. Simple as that, you just adjust it. Whereas if this was watercolour now, you just give up. And I'm just hitting areas with colour. There's no rhyme or reason in where I'm putting them. I'm just trying to get the brightest parts in the uppermost areas. Brighter than other areas. Now this should, I think, be a lot brighter, but a bit further back. So I'm going to get some white in this as well, and I'm going to go down the tusk, the horn, on the horn there. That will do, and then I'm going to come back with some of that purple colour and re-establish the dark areas, the detail areas that we need to keep. So let's do that now. Keep pushing this. Can you see this okay? There we go. I'll just straight down there like that, and we'll do the same back here. And then we'll make that stand out where the horn actually fits to the body. Now I need to get some brighter areas sorted out, because some of these pieces are looking a little some of these areas are looking a little flat because there's no highlights or anything there. Get that sorted out, that's nice. And we'll just move some of this. I don't know where my picture's gone. There we go. Now I want to get some white on here and just put a tip and there. I'll add a little bit more in above the yellow. Again, we're not going to take a little bit of this purple, a little bit of this blue, a little more of the purple, spot of the black, a little bit of yellow, and we'll just make some there, and we do the same back here as well. There we go. And I can't say I like this. I can't say I dislike it. As I say, it's different. It's not something I've done before. But thanks to Stephen, he's inspired me to have a try. I'm not sure if it's a technique I would run with frequently. He seems to be, I must admit, he seems to be enjoying it. He's done a few pictures of this style before, as you've seen. I think the 3 I know he's done are the ones I've shown you, and I hope he doesn't mind me sharing. But I say he's inspired me to have a try, and I've had a try. Now whether anybody thinks this is worthwhile me carrying on with, or whether anybody likes it or not, I don't know. But I'm going to go into brown, I'm going to go into blue, I'm going to go into red, a little bit more blue, grey it down, and I'm just going to upward movements for this because it's grass, and obviously grass grows upwards, and I'm not doing anything major with this. It's just to show shadow worthy on the ground where the Rhinocerosaurus is treading. And yes, I am pronouncing this wrong purposefully. I know it's rhinoceros, but I like to call it a Rhinocerosaurus. If you have a problem with that, put it down a postcard and send it to I don't care at Mind Your Own Business. No, that does sound, no. No, seriously, I'm just playing about. I'm having a bit of a laugh. I'm not taking this at all seriously. I'm just hoping that you're enjoying watching me do something other than painting minis and getting back into painting pictures again. I say it's not as bright as Stephen does them, but that doesn't matter. I'm going to let this dry now and then come back to it in a bit and finish it off because it's not finished yet. I do need to do some finishing touch. I do need to do some touch-ups on certain parts of this. Obviously that needs to be white, and so does that area. I'll keep going over this until it is white. Hopefully that shouldn't be too long now. But this is acrylic, so it's not going to be too long before it does dry. And we can get on to the next step. So when it is dry, we'll come back and continue. Okay, see you in a sec. Okay, we're back, and that's what we have so far. But what I want to do now is something a little different. We're changing, as you can see from the palette, we're changing from the flat palette, which means we are no longer using acrylics. We're going to be using watercolour for this step. So I need to get some watercolour out and mix it up. The reason I'm using watercolour is because it's more transparent. But I don't have many colours for watercolour, so I just have to hope that I've got enough for what I want to do. So let's pop some yellow in there. I'm going to use the colours as best as I can that we have get in the picture and purple. I think this one's gone. I've not used watercolour for a long time. Yep, that one's gone, so I can't use that colour. So the colours I've used are Dioxazine Purple and Lemon Yellow, both Cottonman colours from Winsor & Newton. I'm going to use a Sap Green as well. I think this one's gone as well. Yeah, again, as I say, I don't use watercolours on that often now, so I can't use that one. Let's see if Alizarin Crimson, see if I can use that one. Yep, that's okay. And what else do I have? I have some Hooker's Green, not a colour I like terribly well, but it's a green colour, so we'll mix a little bit of that. I don't want a great deal of that one because it's a very strong colour. So what we need to do is, as I say, mix colours. So let's get brush into the water. I'm going to get some fresh paper towel when I find out what the hell I've done with paper towel. Oh, it's behind me. Okay, so again, this brush hasn't been used for a while, but we're going to do what we can. So I'm going to, let's get water into here before we start putting paint in. I should have put the paint in there and then move it across to the okay, so that's that bit done. We'll change from that colour and we'll go into the next colour, which I can't remember what it was now. Oh, it was the purple. Okay, we don't need a great deal of that. And we'll go into the next colour. So I'm going to turn this round. Hope you can still see what we're doing. I just couldn't see what I was doing. I'll go into the Alizarin Crimson. Again, we're not doing a great amount of we're not using a lot of colour here, but this is just something that might make it a little more interesting. I don't know. I'm hoping it will. I'm just going to add a touch more of the green and hopefully I've got enough. Okay, so the next step. This is going to be good. Acrylic, once it's dried, is waterproof. So what we're going to do is get a big mop brush and we're going to go over the paper and wetting it down. We are going all over. And I mean we're wetting the paper. Okay, next step, get some of the yellow. And dab it on. Some of the purple. Dab it on. Some of the red. Make it a little bit more. And dab it on. And then some of the green. Oops. See what I mean by hooker's green? It's not a nice green at all, it's very muggy. It's not a green I like in any way, shape or form, but it will do for what we're doing. We're just dabbing it on, and we'll just go into different colours now. Purple and with the yellow gives a nice colour, and that is what I was looking for the background. We'll just give that a chance to dry, and I'll put a photograph up at the end of the video. I hope you've enjoyed this. As I said, it's a little different to what I usually do, but I must admit I have enjoyed doing this. It's quite I can't think of the word. It's not very structured. It's loose, and yeah, it's I don't know whether I'll do it again, but for a one-off, it's good. I enjoyed it. But that's it for this video. As I say, I hope you like it. But until next time, as always, stay safe and take care. God bless, and bye for now.